Hello, everyone. Welcome to WinCat Sports. Today, we're going to talk about the Tiger season so far. We haven't really had any Tiger videos up, so we're going to get one up for everyone to state our opinions for. So, right, so far, they actually haven't done that bad this year. They're second in the division, only 3 games out of first place in the division. Better than we thought they would be doing at this point. In the next 2 months, they have a really, really good shot at being above 500 and maybe even going for first place in the division. They're only a couple of games below 500 right now. They have a very weak schedule for the month of May. June's a little bit more difficult, but they're going to have a very good chance of being above 500 by the time potentially July comes around.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think considering that everyone thought that they were probably going to be the worst team in the major leagues and were certainly headed for 100 losses, um, it doesn't look that way anymore. It looks like they're probably in the middle of the pack. Um, their whole division isn't very good, so they have a chance to actually, um, make some noise. They seem to have a problem playing within their division for whatever reason that is. But I certainly I've enjoyed watching these new faces. I like Veerling and McKinstry and Torkelson, even though he's not batting really well. I think I give the guy time. We have nothing but time with these guys, at least for the next couple of years, to let them get it. Give them every opportunity. Riley Green is starting to look much better. Um, I kind of like even Jake Rogers is looking good to me.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, but and that's good. Jonathan Shoup, that guy can't hit worth crap,
It's a little scope. He's old.
but he's a very good
older.
defender still. He's still a very good second baseman, and so I guess you keep him around for that.
He's the veteran presence along with Cabrera. Cabrera not actually doing so bad so far this year. I mean, what he has let's see, where is it at? Well, it's a 197 batting average, so not great. He's batting around there. Let me make sure of that spot. 197.
I think it's
but it's for his age.
I think it's
I'm
a very.
He's still going strong, this strong at least.
This is last year.
So we last year confirmed.
Yeah, he said.
Which is that player? It might be from another sport. Just keeps going like.
Brady.
Brady. I remember that offhand. Brady's like, I might retire. You know what? I'm gonna try for another.
No, he said it was his last year, so he's not gonna be playing after this year. He's doing his farewell tour, so he won't be. But 200 batting average for age 40. I mean,
well, that's the thing. Like, when he does hit one out of the park, it's like it surprises them at the very least. The other team, at least.
Well, I think he only has I don't even think he has a homer this year. Yeah, no, he doesn't.
I think it's a nice start to the new regime, considering we had no expectations at all. And under Avila, it was, how many years of rebuild did we have that came out to nothing? And so people were in a pretty sour mood. I mean, they're not really garnering a lot of fans right now. I mean,
no. I mean, if they start to play well, they will.
Right.
Once the summertime actually hits and you have warmer weather to go see a game,
right,
they might fill the park up a little bit more.
I had no desire to go down there and watch a game unless I was paying, we were looking it up online. It was like $7 a ticket or something.
$5
a ticket. I might do that, but you're still paying $25 for parking.
It's still cheaper.
You're still paying another, $30, $40 for food.
Part of it.
Right. So it's still an expensive night to go down there and see a total crap team, but they're not a total crap team now, so it might be worth it.
And then the one guy who started off the year rough, especially also with how he was acting, Baez, he's come around. He has come around.
Javier Baez is the best player on that team, and when he is engaged and he wants to play, we have a chance against anyone. I think he's the most exciting player on that team, but he has to want to it. And I think benching him was the best thing Hinch could have done. Seeing the results of it, of course. Doing that maybe and he may have to do it a few times to get this guy engaged. I mean, if he wants out of here and he wants a better contract after this year, he's got to play well.
Yep.
No one's going to want to sign him.
Well, he's still on contract for a lot more years. He just has an opt-out clause this year.
Do you guys think overall that the Tigers, with the talent they have now, if everything goes right competitively, they can win the World Cup?
The World Series?
World Series?
No, they're not going to win
No.
the World Series.
No. What do you think their top potential is right now?
Well, with how bad the division is, they have a chance to win the division, but
Like
If
if
they-
you had them
they
just
won't.
perfectly performing for
No.
the season.
because everyone in their division stinks.
so
Okay.
they
Could win their division with a 500 record.
Okay. But you don't think they'll have the experience to compete with better teams?
no.
For-
No, they won't make a deep playoff run.
I-
They might
I
somehow
honestly-
make it, but they ain't gonna do.
I mean,
well.
I don't. You guys might disagree with me. I honestly have always felt if you get into the playoffs,
you might be able
anything
to-
can happen.
Yeah.
And if you're a team that no one expects nothing from, kind of like Florida against
Okay.
Boston, you know, they thought Boston was going to walk through the playoffs. Same with us. If we happen to get into the playoffs, which is a crazy notion at this point, but it's possible.
I mean, yeah,
Do you think they
I-
get
I
there, they
think-
can rise to the challenge at all?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, they
you
would.
only
I don't
have
think they
to
would get
win.
swept.
You
but
only have to win a series,
Yeah.
and anyone can do that if they get hot. Anyone
Okay.
can do it. Yeah, I'm not saying they're better than any, but they
Could you
certainly.
compare-
That's
You compare a run like for Tigers, a perfect run for like the Golden Knights their first season, going all the way to the top, only to then fall to talent like Ovechkin or whatever that equivalent would be in baseball.
right. Well,
Do you think that would be a thing the Tigers would end up in if they did
No.
have a perfect run, or do you think they wouldn't get that?
I don't
far?
think
Right.
it all comes down to how they play the rest of the year. How you see them play against those better teams.
I find it crazy. I mean, I really.
That's crazy.
I
to
probably.
think that.
Yeah.
I think it probably. When I look at if you're comparing another sport, and I don't want to get off the Tigers, but
Yeah,
what we saw with what we're seeing with Seattle and Las Vegas, that might be just such a new thing.
Well, it also shows the talent,
yeah,
the
Right.
talent of the league.
like
That's
talent
what that
and
shows.
heart and how
So,
that
and-
measures your overall success.
if we
Right.
have this young talent, if the talent on the Tigers currently is that good, we're testing out our young talent to see how good they are. If they end up being that good, maybe they can make a run. I don't think they'll make that run this year.
I
but-
don't want to hate Chris Illich. I want to like Chris Illich, but
I like how I heard the doorknob click. I'm like, that person is just
Ferris has joined us again. He just keeps
Ferris.
bouncing in and out of the thing. But I mean, this makes me feel a little bit better about him because I really have been down on him as an owner, and it starts at the top. I think the Lions have proved that. You got to have an owner that is engaged and wants to win, and I'm not sure Chris Village does want to win. I don't know. If this
We'll
is
see
just-
because I think it's showing more with the Wings than the Tigers how he is at the moment. Because the Wings are looking a little bit better, and if the Tigers do better this year, your opinions might change.
Are they looking a little bit better? I guess you could say the Wings are looking a little bit better. When I look at those playoff teams, I don't think the Wings could have won a single game
But-
against any of those teams in the East.
But staying on the
I-
Tigers,
And that's after 4 years
Yes.
of the Iser plan.
we'll
and
do
as
staying
much
on
as-
the Tigers because we don't want to
Right.
talk about the Wings too much.
Oh,
right
we're
now,
getting
right?
off the topic here.
Right,
Well,
staying
this
on
is
the
Wing
Tigers.
Cat
This
Sports.
is-
We can
this
talk
is why-
about anything
this is why
we
Tigers are
want.
just off topic.
But going back to the only guy so far this year that's been a disappointment, I mean, I guess it isn't fully his fault, is Austin Meadows. Being out mostly the whole year at this point with anxiety. And probably, I don't think we'll end up returning at all this year because of his anxiety, which is, in my opinion, a weird thing to happen. But mental illness is mental illness.
I don't.
Is it mental
I guess.
illness anxiety, or is it just he's recognizing he has anxiety and that's why he's not?
You know, all of a sudden he wasn't able to play because of anxiety. So I'm assuming it's medication based.
Okay.
Like his medication stopped working kind of thing.
I'm empathetic
But-
toward him, but I don't understand. I mean, I think the Tigers have actually really treated him well, letting him get treatment and giving him the time to do this. Of course, you know, we have a team that you can do that. We're not in any rush for anything like that, but
Yeah.
still, I worry about him. You know, he's got to take care of himself before he comes back. I mean,
Well, how
I
old
think
is he?
he's probably in his
Early-
late 20s,
I think he's in his mid 20s.
mid 20s.
So that's like in the middle of your like career kind of thing.
He's in kind of the beginning of his career. I don't think
towards
he's
the beginning, but not.
he's like in his fourth
not
or fifth
beginning.
year. I
Yeah,
think.
he played for Tampa before us.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he was a good player. He was a good player for us when he was, you know, able to play. I'm not saying he was great, but he was good. He was solid. And
helped.
I just don't know what, since I'm not somebody who's ever been around somebody like that or experienced that disease, I imagine it's crippling.
Well,
You
like I-
you
like I
have
said.
anxiety issues, and you're having someone throw a ball at you at 100 miles an hour, and I'm sure I mean, I don't know what the basis for all this is, and if what he needs to get better. I mean, is this something that you can get better at?
But it all depends on, like I told you, it's about the medication stuff, right? But once the right medication works,
Even if it's just not
It helps.
exactly medication, it's also can he handle it himself well enough to function in the sport. So like it's not just medication, it's also him learning what kind of triggers his anxiety specifically in the sport, and then learning how to handle that anxiety when he's trying to perform, so then he's then able to perform.
yeah,
Right.
And also the mental health and his social life and all that
yeah,
as well. That's his own journey.
Right. We certainly wish him the best. I mean,
Yeah.
we certainly wish, take care of yourself. The baseball's not that important. It's a sport. But, whether or not I'd love to see him back. I mean, because I thought he added something to the team.
yes. But I don't know if he's on contract past this year, so we'll see what ends up happening. But recapping on what we said, I think we both can agree that we feel good about what the Tigers can do for the year. After seeing, we're almost a quarter way through in year 500.
It's very
Which is
early.
good.
I think June's going to, like you said, this month, if they can get above 500, we'll see where they're at, at mid-June.
Remember when we
End of
get near
June.
the trade deadline, All-Star break trade deadline.
The problem
This is
with
where we're
teams
gonna
like the
fall down.
Tigers is that, if they can, and I like them because they're young and they don't seem to be having any real big injury issues because they really can't afford to lose people. They're thin, and we just got to watch. You can't go on no 10-game losing streak.
No, we can't. If we're gonna actually compete this year, you can't do that. And like I said, their schedule is very favorable the next month and a half.
Who's any good
So-
in Major League Baseball? I mean, who are really
Most of them are
outstanding teams?
well AL East. Every team in the AL East, so Baltimore, Boston, Toronto, New York, right? Those teams. And then I think the rest of them are kind of in the National League of being like really good teams. I don't know who's really good out in the West. Probably Houston. But
Okay.
most of the other ones are in the National League. So you just
Right.
got to fight because every single team in the AL East has a winning record. Every single one of them.
Right. I mean, I was surprised about the Orioles. Watching them when they played the Tigers, they were a horrid team last year,
And they're doing
they
really
seem
good.
to-
They're second place in their division.
Right, and that's a tough division.
It's a very tough division,
So-
yeah. So, like I said, this year's going to be entertaining. So far, it seems like that. We'll try to get more videos about the Tigers out. We haven't really paid attention to them as much with the Lions being so active with everything lately. But until next time, I hope to see everybody soon.
That was it.